righty, according to the clock on the wall, it is 5:30. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for the wonderful city of Barling, Arkansas. Please watch over this board for our decisions that we'll make here tonight. And please bless all the great citizens that we have. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. All righty. Welcome, everybody. Let's do a roll call.
Okay, Aaron Rowe.
Here.
John Manus.
Here.
Marcia Parker. Poncho Davis.
Here.
Sorry, I'm skipping you tonight. Marcia Parker.
Here.
Ken Collins.
Here.
Bill Young.
Here.
Ron Sharon.
Here.
All right, we've got a quorum. And so everybody looked over the minutes for the May 26th meeting. We'd like a motion to approve those minutes as written.
Make the motion, we approve them as printed.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same. All right, the ayes have it. All right, public input. Anybody like to talk about anything on the agenda tonight? No? All righty, let's go to unfinished business. We're gonna do a little bit out of order tonight. We're gonna start with number C, the approval of the water rate study.
Have a seat. So you're gonna make me go first? Just throw me to the wolves, huh?
That's right.
Once you get her ready, if you would, state your name and who you're with and all that fun stuff.
Yep. My name is Josh Mickle. I appreciate the ability to come speak to you guys again on behalf of Mickle Griffin Engineers and Surveyors. I'm here with Jacob McVeigh, one of our young civil engineers who's done a lot of the background work on this. As you guys know, you guys engaged our firm in April to get started on a rate study compliant with Act 605 of 2021 for the state of Arkansas. The due date for submitting this study is July 1st of this year. We need to put it on file with the state. So the intention here tonight is to present out the work that we've done and our findings. And what we seek to walk away with today is an approval from this board to go ahead and file this with the state. Okay. That approval to file it with the state is not a change in the ordinance to enact any of the recommendations here. You have up to 1 year to enact any rate increases or changes that we're recommending today. So that action isn't being requested. It's just to complete the study and go ahead and file it and answer any questions that you might have as a part of that. Okay. So we've done our best, right? We're engineers. We like to give a lot of detail and over-explain things. So we've done our best to try to pare that back and show you guys really high level the work that we've done and what the results are, but we're really more than happy to go into as much detail as you want underneath this, okay? So our task, again, was to review current water and sewer rate structures and evaluate both current financials, operations and maintenance, capital plans, debt service obligations, and any other administrative expenses, and look at what those are forecast to be over the next 10-year period, and use that to propose a rate structure that will allow the city of Barling to meet its obligations for maintaining its water and sewer service system, as well as invest in improving and servicing some of the aging systems that you have, and improving the system for some future growth that's projected, especially for in coordination with I-49 and some of the Fort Chaffee build-out and the FCRA developments. So the last thing that our deliverable is a report, which we've provided a draft to city administration on. It's a 10-page report with appendices that goes over everything we're going to cover today. And it also includes an asset management plan. So asset management plan is a list of all the primary hardware and assets that you have, like pumps and pump stations and meters and valves and water towers and all your total linear footage of pipe with an expected life for those, when they were put into installation, what is their expected life, and we use that in order to be able to estimate the cost to maintain those. So high level, bottom line up front, the rates that you guys have in place right now, the median residential bill is somewhere between $60 and $67 a month for water and sewer only. That's estimated on an average household using 4,000 to 6,000 gallons. That amount of collection or revenue on a per capita basis is not sufficient to be able to maintain the system and do some of the improvements that are needed near term and for the longer term of the city. And so we've gone through and together with Steve and with administration looked at what rate structure is realistic in order for us to be able to move forward. And so the recommendation that we're going to leave you guys with is a year one water and sewer rate increase of approximately 25% on the average residential household, with a 5% year-over-year increase thereafter throughout the duration of the 10-year period. So the average impact to a citizen here in town is going to be about $15 or $16 on their $67 water bill. So it'll go up from $67 to approximately $85 in that first year, and then go up in 5% increments year over year thereafter.
Are you saying the $65 is average among everybody?
Yeah, that's not their bottom line bill because there's garbage collection and some other
Right.
assessments. But for water and sewer, the average household uses 4,000 to 6,000 gallons and pays about $60 to $67 a month for water and sewer. Yeah. And we'll get into that in just a little bit more detail. But bottom line up front, I wanted to lead off with that's the conclusion. Okay, so what is Act 605? We talked about this a little bit when you guys got us kicked off, but just a brief review, right? So the act is intended for municipalities, especially smaller municipalities in the state, to get an objective third-party look at all of the costs that it takes to maintain a public utility system and ensure that municipalities are collecting enough revenue in order to be able to service their system, right? So there's a requirement that a third party is brought on board that's certified as a water rate study advisor, as our firm is, and to perform this study against the most recent auditable data, forecast that forward, and project what those rates need to be in order to be able to maintain the system as is. This is not a list of nice to haves. This is the bare minimum. What does the city have to do to be able to maintain its system long term? The requirement from a deliverable from our standpoint, as I mentioned, is to deliver a report that goes on file with the state by July the 1st. And then the city has 1 year in order to be able to enact the changes in the rate structure as proposed or recommended. So what we've assumed in all of our financial modeling is that the rates won't actually change or go into effect until January 1st, but we'll have up until June 30th of next year to actually enact the increased rates. Okay, so just a quick snapshot of your existing water and sewer system. We use 2024 as the baseline. That was the last auditable financials that were available when we got started. We reviewed financials from 2021 through 2024, and 2024 was a very representative year of kind of the normal inflow outflow. So in that year, the city collected almost $2 million of total revenue. They had operations and maintenance costs of $1.4 million, a debt service obligation of $310,000, and capital improvements costs that largely came as a pay-as-you-go stance, so you paid cash for those improvements, was $500,000. So the net cash flow on the year was minus $277,000. Again, that was a pretty typical year for what the city's been running. Some years it was up and some years it was down in that 4 or 5 year period that we looked at. The net aggregate is to maintain relatively neutral cash flow on a year-over-year basis, right, or on a 5 year horizon. Barling system is primarily residential, as you would all expect. 48% of all users use less than 8,000 gallons on a residential basis. Another 39% use over 8,000 gallons. You have one contract water user, which is Central City. They use approximately 13% of your total water. And so your current rate structures are established such that there is a $21.50 minimum on water and an $11.77 minimum on sewer. So there's a total of about a $33 minimum bill. And then everything over the first 2,000 gallons of metered water is included in that minimum, and then everything over that gets charged a rate of $6.16 per 1,000 gallons. The contract water users in Central City pay that same $6.16 per gallon. One thing that I will note that's not on the slide is on your total usage, right? You'll see that on this line here, residential, and we call it commercial, of the over 8,000. The majority of these, quote, commercial users, your 10 largest users are housing facilities or developments, such as the Ashton Place Manor, the Ake Heritage Development is a water user from the city of Barling, and similar things. So they're taking in large volumes of water and then distributing them out to smaller users that are contracted underneath them. Maintenance costs really drive the need for increased revenue, right? As you guys are aware, it's not getting any cheaper to maintain the systems that we have. A lot of the systems that the city has now are in need of repair or in need of long-term plans for yearly placement of dollars to be able to maintain them. And so we used, from an O&M standpoint, we baselined on that 21 to 24 time period and forecast those costs out with a standard escalation rate. So in 2024, the actual spend, as we mentioned, was $1.4 million. That's projected to be as high as $1.7 million in 2027 and over $2 million in 2035, assuming that there's no additional lines or pumps or any additional infrastructure put in place. That's just to maintain what we've got. On top of that, the second and probably biggest cost component behind that is capital improvements, right? So this is things that are required in order to improve the system. So when we did the water system master plan, for instance, we highlighted a number of lines throughout town that are going to need to be upsized in order to be able to accommodate future developments, either in the College of Health Education area on the east side of town, or backfilling some of the central areas that have planned future residential developments. And so all of those types of projects have been feathered in at an estimated timeline over the 10-year period. And we made our best guess or estimate about how those would be funded, i.e., are they pay-as-you-go? Are they funded through an additional bond issuance when our current debt obligation is up? Or is there some use of state revolving funds to be able to do that at a low interest rate borrowing scenario? But no matter what, the goal is that any debt that the city takes on per Act 605, there's a minimum debt service coverage ratio that's required. And so we've made sure that any capital plans that are projected or forecast stay well underneath that debt service ratio. And so then the third piece becomes the actual debt cost. So if there's anything that we do recommend is funded through a bond issuance, right, or state revolving funds, that's taken into consideration in our modeling. So again, I want to reiterate that the rates that we've drawn up, we've forecasted out total cost and total revenue over that 10-year period, and the target for our model was a break-even cash flow, right? So we're not trying to build up an extreme war chest so that you guys can go conquer the world, right? It's just to maintain the system that we have and keep it moving. And so highlighted there on the bottom right of that slide is our 10-year projection for revenue and those O&M costs that we already talked about. And you see that the net cash flow is plus or minus, $100,000 on each year. And then the associated debt service coverage ratios are shown there as well. I'm going kind of fast. Do I need to pause for any questions or? Okay. So we do recommend that there is a slight modification to the rate schedule. So right now, you have a fixed fee for the minimum user, which is up to 2,000 gallons. And then you charge a flat rate for water usage from that 2,000 gallons on to 50,000 gallons as your highest user. We recommend adding one more tier into that mix. So you have a base usage of 0 to 2,000 gallons, and then you have a usage from 2,000 to 8,000 gallons, which covers your residential piece. And then everything over that, what we would consider a standard residential usage gets charged a slightly higher per unit rate. What that really does is it captures irrigation use and any luxury uses for a pond or a fountain or filling a pool or any of that type of stuff. It gets charged at a slightly higher rate. And we can show you how we've tiered that in just a moment. The last thing that I kind of wanted to highlight to you guys was a comparison of your current rates versus some of the nearby municipalities and what the proposed change is that impacts that, right? So the average Barling household, as I mentioned, is about $67, going to $85 in the first year. The median for other communities in our area is about $105. And that's caveated with the city of Fort Smith has not had a rate adjustment as a result of Act 605. For the moment, they are exempt from Act 605 because of their ongoing consent decree. But some of the other communities that we show here, most notably Alma, which had the most recent Act 605 increase, that is their post-Act 605 rates that we have shown there. And then this is really small, but I just wanted to give you a flavor of what the asset management plan looks like. So again, you've got water assets on the left-hand side and sewer assets on the right-hand side. This is just a screenshot, but it gives you the in-service date, their useful life, what the estimate of their annual maintenance is in today's dollars, and what the total replacement cost is for that system. And this asset management plan feeds back into the O&M and CapEx plan that says, okay, if it costs if we spend $7,500 a year right now servicing our lagoons, replacing riprap and doing roadway repairs and bank stabilization, right? We've escalated that forward so that cost is real than your dollars 10 years from now, so that we're not making unrealistic assumptions that prices are going to stay flat over that 10-year period. Okay. Okay. So again, I went through that pretty quickly, but if you guys have any questions or some additional detail, happy to walk through it. But all we're asking for today is to be able to finalize the report and get that submitted to the state with our recommendations.
Question. On our current lagoon systems, how much more capacity will they hold? Will the next 10 years they be able to absorb what we've got?
Long story short, you guys have plenty of lagoon capacity.
Okay.
I believe that the lagoons were originally designed as part of the Fort Chaffee system to be able to handle a population up to 40,000 people. 43, yeah. That's somewhat skewed because of it depends on sludge levels and some other things, but
Sure.
you have more than enough sewer capacity. Yeah.
Anybody else have any more questions? Steve, you got anything to add?
Are these numbers factoring in water tower, things like that?
Yeah, so, let me actually show you the capital plan.
And is that part of the pay-as-you-go situation, or is that something that?
Yeah, good question. So, this is the total CapEx plan that we've assumed, right? So we've assumed our current spend in that 2024 year was about $500,000 of capital spend, right? Sorry?
You're not here.
Okay. Let me do this. Okay. This is gonna be small for you guys, but we'll do our best. So this is the total CapEx plan that we've got projected out. So this number at the bottom is the totals. So in most years, you guys have spent historically about $500,000 on capital expenditures. We project that in the near term, so in the next 2 to 3 years, that number needs to go up to approximately $1 million a year, escalating up to $2 to $3 million per year at peak in order to bring some of the aging infrastructure back into place.
This study right here factors all that in.
Yes, yeah. An example of that from the rate study, for instance, is there's a whole bunch of asbestos cement lines in your water system, right? Those have to be replaced. We've assumed that those are gonna be replaced over a 5 or 10 year period, and you're gonna take it in chunks. So we're gonna do $175,000 a year, or, for instance, right?
All right, anybody else have any questions? Steve, any comments?
Yeah, there's several of them. There's, one is there is a water system master plan done last October by Nickel Griffin. Okay, in there, it lists projects and analysis, what's in the ground out there already that we have to replace. Jacob and Josh and I have sat and talked about what projects need to be and what lines need to be replaced in the first go-round. It's staged so that we can get rid of some of the ancient. And basically, the asbestos cement pipes over years, we check asbestos. There's a religious test every year. We've not had a problem, but you've had a problem with some of it will deflate or change shape. We found that when we've had to go in and do repairs. Fortunately, there's some technology now that takes care of that. The other thing that we looked at, we've talked about, we have the rates that we look at in making the minimum commercial. There, if you draw a curve of consumption, and Josh hit it, the extreme low end of the majority of the town, if you came up, there's a stop on a graph at less than 2,000 gallons. There's a plateau that goes up to about 8. And then there is a peak that's driven in this very narrow band of about 10, maybe 12 users that are beyond 8,000. They have irrigation, they have large populations, whether it's a nursing home or a healthcare facility, something like that is a big user. What they've looked at, in layman's terms, they've looked at the people that use the most are going to pay a higher rate because that's still where your consumption goes. The second thing is that everybody has seen, and we've had developments made here in town where we've co-opted, whether it's down on the truck route, or we've co-opted up on Moody Road, and in a development that's going on right now in Ebbing 82, where we have done some of the stuff ahead of time. Historically, and Josh referred to the SRF, the State Resolving Fund, we've never had any luck at qualifying, probably because the average per capita income on the statistics stuff is we've been beyond that level. And that's just because we're fortunate. There's a great number of retirees with incomes that exceed what that ceiling is, and so you can't always qualify. The next thing is in the debt, we have enough to bail ourselves out, but we have a track record of paying bonds on time, promptly, and even our last reissue that we got was not a contested deal. It was, unlike some towns, we pay our bills, and that counts. The other thing, I think the maintenance cost is an ongoing factor. We were able to save by buying a quantity of meters, and they have alluded to that in the meter cost, and you've heard the meter cost of what happens down at Fort Smith. We've managed to get stuff together, and this is something that has to be. Thinking about doing it, we don't have a real margin of error in terms of the happening to increase. What you have to do is get the report down there, and while it's gone down there by July 1st, we need to come up to a conclusion and pick out what we want the rates to be, because you might as well bite the bullet and not fool around. But the people need to understand that there's a way we can structure this, and there's some minimum bill comparisons. Megan has done a very good job, and she has some stuff for you all to look at, and it will fit with what Josh and Jacob have referenced.
Thank you.
For those of you that haven't seen the cheat sheets, they're here. And basically, if you look at the first one, it says, and this is where I want to really get there, because Josh and Jacob have both referred to the total bill. If you look at the first bill there, and it says a minimum residential bill example, it says $68.22 is the current minimum bill. The proposed minimum bill will be $80.67 in the new configuration. Okay, if you look at that, you'll see what each charge in there. The Safe Drinking Water Act is SDWA, the fire equipment bill, the stormwater fee, which is we have to clean and remove. The technology fee is to get your meters, and sanitation is the price that we pay to our contract sanitation. If you look at that, the bill is going before taxes, and there is tax on some items. If you look at the bottom, it says the tax shown is estimated using 9.5% applied to water and sanitation charges. That's by state law, okay? You're going to have here, you're looking at that total minimum bill and the bill for a minimum user. And you remember me talking about the curve and the peak and the spike? Well, that means that basically there is $12.45 is the total increase at this at the bill and the proposed rate. If you look at the second sheet, we talked about 3,000 gallons, which is beyond the minimum. Most everybody is somewhere around 2,000. If you look at the second sheet, the current 3,000 gallon bill is $77.40, and the proposed is $91.08. And if you look there and you look at this number and see where it is, you'll see the prices and the changes in the water and the sewer, and it's basically a $13.68 increase. Okay? And if you look at the user that's got, 2 car washes and swimming pool and everything else in the backyard, you're looking at an increase of $26.51. And the current bill for that, if you're a high user, is $141.77. Well, you're gonna increase by $26.51 for the people that are the most users. And the most users should pay. And so this is a sample, and this is the example that gives you what the water and sewer is, and an idea of what really happens when you look at these. And this analysis, one of the things we talked about was looking to see how many of them, how many users are below the 2,000, and how many users are in the 8,000 category. And we will have to extract that from our billings and our meters. You got it?
Yeah, for the month of May, we had 1,035 customers in the 0 to 2,000 gallon range. We had 446 in the 2,000 to 3,000, 3,000 to 4 was 300, and then varied from there on. I did these examples for you, and I can show you probably these too. They're these examples, because that's with all of the fees that they pay on the water bill, sanitation, water, sewer, all the monthly fees. I know he's talking about wages, having to do water and sewer rate, but I know you're gonna want your citizens to have questions. They're gonna wanna know how much their total bill is going up. So those examples are for, you can see in whole, like their bill was $68.22, they paid the minimum, it's going up $12 now.
So if I'm paying 140, 145, it's gonna be 170?
Each one of your water bills, and all of you except for one, no one speaking, fall within that's the 0 to 3,000, or about 3,000 gallon range. It's a different deal, he may be mad, but everybody else should be pleasantly surprised.
I ain't mad, I just wanna know what to expect.
You must have a lot of people living there.
No,
Now, one thing this doesn't show is the fact that every
Except
year we
nice
have a
water.
sanitation increase also.
Yes, it increases anywhere from 4 to 5% increase. I mean, this is just with the water and sewer rates.
I understand, but the people want to know how much their water bill is going to go up, and that should be factored in as well, because there's going to be a 5% increase every year for that.
Yes, completely different. They don't tell me until mid-year how much it's gonna go up again, but it did go up $2 last time. I will say I try to make it a little extra to where we only have to update it every other year. So I'm hoping we don't have to increase in 2027, and that's my hope, is because I only needed about $1 last time, and I did too, because I just don't want to constantly increase. So I hope we don't have to in 28 on sanitation.
And what Megan hasn't told you is, by the Arkansas law, the sanitation has to be an equal as, it's a wash, what you take in, and so you have to match. We have very
Understand, we're
little.
not making any money on it.
No, you have to just pay it as a wash, and that's why you want to.
And we have time, he plans for to start in January, that still gives us months. I plan on sending out mailers explaining the law, explaining Act 605, that we are not making money on this. We are doing the bare minimum to keep the system running, and just so everyone knows what to expect. No one loves an increase, but at least they'll be informed, and they will be able to not understand. And we're gonna send them out early, that way they can call and ask questions beforehand. And a new year, I feel like it's a good time to start, they can budget for their new year like that, so we'll give them heads up. If you all approve this, I figure I'll start working on mailers in July sometime, so.
Now that we're talking about this, is this the time to maybe talk about increasing our fire equipment fund, maybe to $10 instead of $750?
Let's discuss it.
I think, yeah, we'll have to discuss that. I think that's at a different time, because.
I'm
what-
okay with that, but
Right.
that's something that we need to speak
Yeah.
about.
something we need to put on the
Yeah,
agenda.
yeah. This is just to send the study to Little Rock to say, hey, we've done the study. We haven't voted on the increases yet or anything like that, but this is just to show
our
Little Rock.
proposal.
that we're on board with the 605 and being, doing our due diligence. Are there any other questions or anything?
Yeah, the only thing that I do want to state is that by sending the study and filing it with the state, you are agreeing to raise rates, right?
We understand.
We don't have a
Yeah.
You
choice.
just have some time to decide exactly when you'll do that within that 12-month period. Right? So we'll be back here at some point in the next few months with a proposed ordinance to actually make the change. Okay.
All righty. Are there any other questions? If not, we'd like a motion to approve the water study.
I make a motion that we approve the water study for present to the state of Arkansas.
Do I have a second?
Yes, sir.
Second by Aaron. Let's do a roll call vote.
Aaron Rowe,
Yes.
John Manus.
Yes.
Pancho Davis.
Yes.
Marcia Parker.
Yes.
King Polly.
Yes.
Bill Young. Ron Sharon.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Signed, sealed, and delivered to Little Rock. All right, let's move right along. We're gonna go to item B. We're gonna do consideration of preliminary development plans for the next phase of Ebbing 82. Steve, do you have anything you wanna say on that?
Well, we've been through planning and we've been through the original. The zoning is correct. The planning commission members that have sat and gone through it have recommended it. And my comment is, we need to go ahead and approve this and get going. It's critical that we do this. Part of this is also going to be stuff that incorporates one of the items that Josh has referred to in the study, and that's the water line that will connect from Painter Lane to Strozier Lane. And it'll make us a due loop in for the pressure system. That's one of them that's there. Other than that, we know there's ways and we know a couple of things that have to be done with traffic, and that'll require some outside sourcing too. But I'd recommend going to it, and the planning commission has said it. If any of them they're here, any of them want to have anything to say, they're at it.
Does anybody have any questions about Ebbing 82 or anything like that they'd like to ask at this time? If not, we'd like a motion to approve the preliminary development plans for Ebbing 82.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Got a second? Roll call vote?
Aaron Rowe,
Yes.
John Manus.
Yes.
Pancho Davis.
Yes.
Marcia Parker.
Yes.
King Polly.
Yes.
Bill Young. Ron Sharon.
Yes.
All right, build, baby, build.
Go get them.
Thank you, guys. Can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
Okay. Steve, you mentioned that water line, and, you and I talked, and while we're doing this, I wonder if we shouldn't maybe work on that water line while we're doing, work here. You said it was gonna need to be an 8-inch line that'll come in by our entrance at the ranch, isn't that right? You agree with that? I mean, you think we ought to tackle that in this, I mean, that's up to the city, but I'm just saying, I'm gonna be doing all that.
We don't
sewer and
want to,
water
we don't
work.
want to dig it up twice, okay?
You're right, that's kind of my point. But what I was gonna ask you, is it coming in just beside the ranch side? And so it's gonna go east, back?
And then around to head all the way out to the Strozier Lane.
So it's gonna go past the ranch sign, and then it'll be that big open field. And then there was that ranch house that sat in the middle of that 82, it'll go beside that?
Yeah,
along the road?
I've got a drawing in there that shows you.
Okay, well, I'll get with you later on that. I just thought it'd be a good idea to, if we've got the money, to go ahead and do that line while we're doing our stuff.
We don't want to dig it up twice.
Right, okay.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Hey,
I
appreciate it.
appreciate your vote and your confidence. in what we're doing.
Keep us posted on your presentation, how
I will.
everything goes.
That'll happen on the 22nd, now that
Okay.
we're approved, and we'll see how many of these people are gonna sign leases and lock in the Barling, okay? But we're gonna do it for the citizens as well as the military. Thank
All
you,
right,
guys.
thank you much. All righty, moving right along. Consideration of tabled ordinance 532 regarding door-to-door sales. Matt, you want to brief us on what all we added, didn't add, and all that fun stuff before we read it?
Okay, what we talked about last time in writing.
All righty, how
The
about,
times are in there, the cost is in there. No Sundays. SUNDAYS.
I'll let y'all skim over it real quick if y'all have any questions before we read it.
You got a bunch of questions.
He's got a bunch of questions.
They can listen to the melodious tone of my voice as I read like Morgan Freeman.
You need, you need a little water? Before we do that, can I get
Swallowing a lot of spit. Not
Yeah.
good.
can we get a motion to place it on the first reading?
Make that motion.
Got a
Place on
motion?
first
Do I
reading.
have a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second? All those in favor of placing it on the first reading, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same?
No.
One no. All righty. The ayes have it. So, Matt, it's all yours to read ordinance number 532. 530, yeah. One.
All right, ordinance number 532, an ordinance repealing and replacing ordinances 135 and 352, regulating door-to-door sales and/or solicitation within the city of Barling, Arkansas, declaring an emergency herein and for other purposes. Section 1, the term residential door-to-door selling or soliciting shall refer to the activity or practice of going, whether by foot or by any type of conveyance, from place to place, house to house, street to street, or from door to door to residential living units for the purpose of selling or attempting to sell goods or services, whether to be delivered or delivered at a subsequent time, or for the purpose of requesting or attempting to request donations or contributions by a person or entity who has not obtained a prior appointment to call at such residential unit. Section 2. No firm, company, corporation, association, partnership, sole proprietorship, or other legal entity shall engage in the activity of residential door-to-door selling and/or soliciting within the city of Barling without first complying with the provisions of this section. B, each such person and entity identified in section 2A above shall, before engaging in such activity, register itself with the city clerk or other agent of the city designated for such purpose by the city administrator. Such registration shall be on forms supplied by the city and shall contain the following information. B1, name, address, and telephone number of the supervisor or manager, if any, of the entity's activities within the city. B2, the correct legal name of the person or entity together with the entity or person's home office address, home office telephone number, and designated agent for service at its home office and within the state of Arkansas, if such an agent has been designated within the state of Arkansas. B3, a photocopy of the applicant's state-issued driver's license. And B4, a listing of the anticipated period during which such sales and solicitation shall be conducted within the city. C, as reimbursement of the cost of maintenance of such registered persons and/or entities engaging in such activities, the city clerk or other agent of the city designated by the city administrator shall charge a fee of $150 per person soliciting for each such registration. D, the registration provided for herein shall be effective for the shorter of the following periods of time. 1, from registration to the end of the period of time listed on the registration, not to exceed 3 days, during which the legal entity anticipates engaging in such activities. Or 2, from registration to the termination of the employment relationship of the registered local supervisor or manager within the city of Barling, so that a new registration is required within each replacement of the local manager or supervisor of the entity's operations in the city of Barling. In no event shall a registration period continue for more than 3 days without the city charging an additional registration fee. E, shall be unlawful for any person to engage in the activity of residential door-to-door selling and/or soliciting within the city of Barling unless the legal entity represented by such person has a current registration on file with the city. Section 3, it shall be unlawful for any person, whether the registration provided for in the preceding section has been accomplished or not, to engage in any activity of residential door-to-door selling and/or soliciting before 9 a.m. or after 5 p.m. of each day of the week except Sunday, and it shall be unlawful to engage in any such activities at any time on Sundays. Section 4, it shall be lawful for any person engaged in the activity of residential door-to-door selling or soliciting to make use of any plan, scheme, or ruse, or make any statement which indicates or implies that the purpose of such person's visit is other than to obtain orders for or make sales of goods or services, or to obtain commitments for or collect donations or contributions. Section 5, any person found guilty of violating the provisions of this ordinance shall be deemed guilty of a Class B misdemeanor. Section 6, the provisions of this ordinance are hereby declared to be severable, and a decision by any court of competent jurisdiction that a provision of this ordinance or any application thereof is illegal, invalid, or unconstitutional shall not affect the legality, validity, or constitutionality of the remaining portions or applications of this ordinance. Section 7, all ordinances and parts of ordinances in conflict with this ordinance are hereby repealed, specifically ordinances 135 and 352. Section 8, it being necessary for the health and safety of the citizens of Barling, Arkansas, an emergency is hereby declared to exist, and this ordinance shall be in full force and effect upon its passage, passed and approved this 9th day of June, 2026, signed by Greg Murray, Mayor, attested to by Florida Brown, City Clerk.
All right, anybody, questions, comments?
I do have a question. We spoke, last meeting, of the wordage in this, and when I see the word, I don't see anything in there about canvassing, signatures.
That's protected by state statute.
One more question. On the, no doing permits after 3 days, but they can come back and get another permit for additional. Okay, what would be the charge? Is it gonna be the same original charge, or is it gonna be, since they've already done the initial charge, is it gonna be the
No, it's gonna
cut
be
rate,
the
same
same
thing?
fee for up to 3 days.
Okay.
You can do 1, 2, 3, whatever, but it's the same fee.
Same cost even if you renew it?
Yes.
Any 3 days after that is $150 also.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Last time we had voting on the applicants for the city board, it was during that time. We passed ordinance where there was no soliciting. We had signs made.
Speak up, can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm hard to hear.
Well, I am too. That's the reason I'm
Okay.
not yelling at you. I'm trying to
Right.
not. But anyway, the bottom line was that, excuse me, that we passed that so these people wouldn't be running us nuts. Well, when the storm come through, I would have, no joking, 10 to 12 a day come to my house. I put the sign up, nothing. Why are we changing it? For the money?
It wasn't passed.
Huh?
You didn't pass anything.
I know, but why are
We
we?
had a study session, what you're talking about, we did a study.
Yeah.
session, everybody voted, but it hasn't ever been into effect.
No, I understand that, but why are we trying to change it? Is
So
it?
we can regulate the ordinance.
Yeah, this is actually going to give us more bite.
So we know who's who.
Right.
Currently, we can't stop all, or we can't stop, we can't regulate them.
Well, I understand that, but I don't want nobody banging on my door either.
Well, it's illegal.
We'll put that sign up in front
It's
yard.
in my front
Roofing
yard.
sign stick in your front door, they will quit bothering you.
Well, that's what I did,
Okay,
but, okay. And it's setting, to me, I don't care if they have a license or not, it's setting somebody up to enter your house that you don't know who they are, and the way they're entering your house is having that license.
Well, I think what the ordinance does is it just puts, like you said, teeth to it.
Identification.
And if you put a sign up, like you did before, they still aren't supposed to come to your house, whether it was what we did last time or what we do this time. That doesn't change.
And when they get their registration this time, we say you are not allowed to go to these houses that have the city sign. If they do, then just report it back. And then we'll get a hold of Joe, and Joe loves to go around in his truck and all that and tell him, yo, you ain't supposed to do that, and
Yeah.
come on down, we need another 3
Well, they
days.
haven't bothered me since I put the sign up.
Yeah.
They have stuck cards on the door. And I'm not against it. It's just certain events happen, and it, believe it or not, it interrupts my day quite a bit.
And I would make one quick comment on that is, like you talk about, if they do violate it after the fact, then they can be revoked. I mean, you know, their door-to-door privileges are gone. I mean, so,
Totally right.
I'm sorry?
Totally, I mean,
And they won't get another one.
Yeah, so,
That's
I
what I'm
mean, if
getting
they
at.
violate it,
Okay,
got a one-shot deal.
my bad, I wasn't here, so I'm sorry. I couldn't help it.
Understandable. I had two this past weekend come and sit at my door, so I had a nice little chat with them.
I mean, reason I wasn't here.
Yeah. Anyway, any other questions on the ordinance?
Nope.
We would like a motion to suspend the rules requiring that Mr. Matt read it 3 separate occasions.
I'll make that motion, we suspend the reading of 3 times on this ordinance.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
We got a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same. All right. Can we get a motion to approve the ordinance?
I move that we approve the ordinance as written.
All right. Bill, Ian got a second. All that. Roll call vote.
Aaron Rowe? John Manus?
Yes.
Pancho Davis?
Yes.
Marcia Parker?
Yes.
Ken Collie?
Yes.
Bill Young?
Yes.
Ron Cheryl?
yes.
All right, new ordinance number 532. Can we get a motion to adopt the emergency clause?
Make that motion, we adopt the emergency clause.
Got a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second for Pancho. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed by the same. All right. That has done and approved. There is no new business. Let's do a little financial report. What do you say?
Here's the financial report. There. The financial report through April. As you'll see, all the revenues are doing very well so far. The sales tax is right where it should be at 33%. The building permits are at 39%. Actually, I checked today and building permits are at 75% for the year already. And it's not even halfway through the year. We've been bombarded isn't even a strong enough word with all this hail damage. We've been working around the clock. But also with that, we've been making sure, Flo and Kim and Joe have been making sure that every one of them have a business license. We've been really staying on top of that. And our business, it's showing our business licenses are at 120% so far this year.
How
And,
many have you had to fix?
oh,
119
well, that's how many, permits we've had. Yeah, how many people got away with not licensed things?
Bunch.
50, maybe 40, 50, yeah, probably
So-
this year.
Does that mean they're not paying sales tax either, or collecting sales tax?
They're absolutely not. I've had that conversation with numerous door-to-door salesmen that didn't want to get a business license to go door-to-door in Barling, and I informed, how are they selling their services if they don't have a license to have a business? So they don't have, and they're not. We've stopped several of them because they're not registered with the state of Arkansas, and I'm checking on the Secretary of State's website to make sure that they're registered, and we've also been checking contractors' license. We've been running roofers off left and right because they don't have valid license. So we're staying on that. It's been a lot. I'm not saying none have slipped through the cracks, but we're really trying to make sure, number one, that the citizens are getting someone who's going to take care of them if something happens and something goes wrong with a roof, and making sure everybody's held accountable. Everything else revenue-wise is the normal. General fund expenditures, everybody's right where they should be. Fire and police operations are a little higher, but that's just annual contracts that we pay in January, so that's normal. And Public Works, everybody's right where they should be. Interest just continues to go up, surprisingly. Interest is doing very well in our bank accounts right now. I've raised it quite a bit this year, and it's just, it's still going up, so that's nice. Everything else, there's really nothing, we've been, I think, too busy to spend money, so there hasn't been many expenditures. We've been trying to collect revenue and not enough time to spend, so,
Just need
that's
more
what y'all like to
staples.
hear. Is there anything that looks different or anything you have a question about?
I think we're good.
I did bring you numbers. I didn't know if I was supposed to mention it or Steve, but we talked about for a new position to help in administration and fill in, with health insurance, dental, vision, salary and everything. If we started them in July to the end of the year, the cost would be about $29,000. And for a full year, it would be $58,000. So that is something to be discussed if y'all want to. I don't know if you want to have a formal discussion over it or if we wanted to just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think we need to look at everybody's personnel, as far as where they're at and where they need to be. We need to look at all the departments and talk about it.
Okay, are we wanting to do a study session, or are you wanting to do like a mid-year?
We'll do that after July.
Bring it up as an agenda item at a regular meeting.
Okay,
You want to do that next meeting, or you want to do that after the first July meeting?
Yeah.
Next meeting?
Bring it up.
Let's do it. Let's do it the next meeting.
what exactly are you wanting? Just how many employees each department has and the cost
Well,
we're at, and,
I want to look at what we have and what our needs are, and then discuss the priorities
okay,
In the salaries.
and the salaries.
Yeah, and salaries.
The new
the cost of a new one for each, yeah, okay. We'll do. That's it, for me, that's all I have, if you don't have questions.
All right, thank you, Miss Megan, great job. Appreciate everything you guys do over there, because you're gonna need a lot more paper when the permits keep printing and they keep going. Let's go to Mr. Steve, City Administrator Report.
The paving overlay, I had several people asking, next week, not this week, but the next week, is a pre-construction conference. They're gonna have it down at Hartford, which is kind of strange, but anyhow, we'll do it, and the highway department called it. There, we have 2.02 miles. I've had several people come by, and I've given them copies of the street map, which streets are gonna be done. The other thing is, we'll have another session with at the Peak Center. And one of the things that has come up about questions, and it is something that is probably gonna take a reciprocal or a memorandum of understanding with us in Fort Smith. They have turned Painter Lane into a freeway. The speeds that have been reached and the vehicles we've seen over there, it has become the shortcut to go up the truck route and dart up Painter Lane, take a right onto Moody Road, rush down to 22nd Street and take a left and head right on out to 4th Street or 22 Highway.
Speed bump.
Painters is half Fort Smith, half Barling.
Yeah, and that's why I say it's gonna take us and Fort Smith to agree with it and to support it. And the other thing is,
Them speed bumps work good. They work good on 8th Street.
against the law. Yeah, I can dig the road up. No, that's one of the problems. The other is the Moody Road. We have had cases where we were after somebody speeding up Moody Road and had a call and had to divert. And they have people in the 80 to 90 mile an hour range going west on Moody Road. You can't imagine how a narrow road like that make you think twice. They've also had, in the past, we've had mailboxes hit going eastbound on Moody Road that are right up there beside it, and, you know, you put one up there, you're betting on it. These are two things, and then the other thing is, we need to know, and I can find no paperwork that affects our patrols on the interstate, except with the good nature of the Arkansas State Police. And I think we probably, somewhere there may be in the statutes that allows us to go out and patrol on the interstate, because our city limits end about 1,200 feet south of the overpass that goes, the original overpass. That's where the Barling city limits end. So you have to really be conscious of some of, like Oklahoma had cities that got out and patrolled on the Interstate 40 and got sued. And so we've talked about this, and this is something that is always on your mind about who can do what, where. And then I guess the gal that was late for work that day was doing 80 some odd miles an hour, and she was coming from Greenwood and went sailing into Barling is how she was caught. And why were you speeding? I'm late for work. You're really late now. These are the kind of things that you need to, and very seldom do we get off into explaining police procedures, but you need to think about what we've got, and we need to sit down with Fort Smith and with Baker and his crew and decide how we're going to handle Painter Lane before somebody gets killed. And if you haven't been up on Painter Lane and to get on the truck route, the new route, if you're going westbound or any bound out of that intersection, you need to have your head on a swivel, because you cannot see people coming back up.
I do know in northwest Arkansas, there's several neighborhoods that have fee tables.
Now, the table's different, and that's on university campus.
No, it's within Cave Springs.
Okay. I don't know how long that'll last.
This is just a little crazy, because you know how the state does their highway thing. It's either in one city, all of it's in one city, or and this is just, I'm just throwing this out there, would we want to take over the Fort Smith side of Painter Lane, see if they would give it to us, so that we're responsible for the paving and all that fun stuff? That way, we don't have to deal with them or ask them to help out or do anything like that, or vice versa, where we would give our side of the road to them and just the road part. I'm just throwing that out there.
They ran into that snag years ago when we went to pave the road, and there was damage to the road, and you can't get out from under it. The boundary is the boundary based on the monuments that are out there. And the monument, one of them is buried under asphalt by Jim Barnes's driveway, and the other one is down there clean across the railroad tracks out there by the substation. So you can't do that. They throw you. Probably on the Interstate 49 down here, if we'd have thought about it, and nobody apparently did, we could have had probably both sides of the interstate all the way down to Roberts in Barling, simply because it's not taxed. Nobody gets any tax from it, and that would simplify the police. You know, hey, your authority ends at that off-ramp right there. When you hit it, you're done. And that's something that you need to think about making that. And of course, Fort Smith got that part of the interstate south of the 1,200 foot, which made 0 sense at the time and still does. But that's something that you need to, as the council, as the board, you need to be thinking about it. When somebody comes in and talks to you about it, or they have a complaint about a ticket, people don't realize that they took all the 45-mile-an-hour signs, speed limit signs, off the new portion of the truck route. It's all 50 from one end to the other. They didn't tell anybody it was going to take the signs down. We went out there, and there they're gone. So, you know, that's why I'm saying you need to be careful about that. And that's it.
All righty, any questions for Steve? No? All right, announcements. The splash pad's gonna be closed next Tuesday on the 16th. Is that all day? just until 1. So from 7 to 1, the splash pad on the Tuesday, the 16th, will be closed. Ken, you can't go during that time. And then don't forget July the 3rd, big fireworks show on July the 3rd. That'll be on a Friday, and that's going to draw a big crowd. Does anybody from the public like to say anything? If not, Mr. Ron,
Mayor,
would you do
I'd
numbers?
like to say one thing.
Yes.
I went by the splash pad this morning, a little bit before 11, and counted 22 cars.
Oh, wow.
So they were filling it up.
Filling it up already.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion to adjourn? Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Folks, have a blessed day in the great city of Barling.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Not at all.